On this mindless event, let's light the fires and illuminate the flames of glory, peace, prosperity, positivity, and happiness. We now have the arrival of our respected chief guest for the day, Dr. Markande Rai.
Deny people their human rights is to challenge their humanity. Beginning off with the event, we have Damni of class 11 performing an invocation dance. She's going to be performing Bharatanatyam, which is an Indian classical dance form. I'm sure such an expressive performance will be the perfect way to start off the day.
Right back क्या है?
Kidak kidak
ಭಯಂಕರ ಸೊಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ತೊಡಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ತ್ರಿಶೂಲಧರ ಕಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ದಿಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ತಾಡ ವಿಜುಂಬರ ದಿಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ದಿಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ವ್ಯಾಸಮ ಶಂಕರ ಸೊಕ್ಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ತೊಡಕಿಡ ಗಿಡದಗಿ ತ್ರಿಶೂಲಧರ ನಂದಿ ವಾಹನ ನಾದ ಯೋಗ ಪ್ರಿಯ ಜಗಡಂ ಬಿಡತಗ ತಗದಿಗುದ ಸಿಗುದೈ ನಂದಿ ವಾಹನ ನಾದ ಯೋಗ ಪ್ರಿಯ ಜಗಡಂ ಬಿಡತಗೆ ದಿಕ್ಕುದೈ ಜಯ 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 ಸಶಿರಡಿ ಭೂಷಣ ರೂಪ ಭಯಂಕರ ಡಮರುಗ ಹಸ್ತ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಜುನ ಜಯ ಸಶಿರ ವಿಭೂಷಣ ರೂಪ ಭಯಂಕರ ಡಮರುಗ ಹಸ್ತ ದೀರ್ಘ ಸಹಸ ದೀಕ್ಷಿತ ನಾದ ನಟೇಶ ಕೌತುವ ತಗದಗದ ದಿಗುದಿಗುದೈ ತಾಗುದಿಗುದ ಕೀಟ ಕೊಂಕಿಡ ಕಿಡದಗಿಡ ತಗದಗದ ದಿಗುದಿಗುದೈ ತಾಗುದಿಗುದ ಕೀಟ ಕೊಂಕಿಡ ಕಿಡದಗಿಡ ತಗದಗದ ದಿಗುದಿಗುದೈ ತಾಗುದಿಗುದ ಕೀಟ ಕೊಂಕಿಡ ಕಿಡದಗಿಡ ತಂಗಿ ಕಿಡದಗದಿ ಸೀತಾ
That was a truly immersive performance. Thank you, Damini.
Cynthia McKinney, an American politician and activist, once said, "We are way more powerful when we stand towards each other and turn to each other and not against each other, and tear down the mighty walls of injustice." Every year on December 10th, people around the world stand up for equality, justice, and human dignity by celebrating International Human Rights Day. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights proclaims the inalienable right that everyone is entitled to as a human being, regardless of race, color, religion, language, property, birth, or other status. We must understand the role of human rights as empowering of individuals and communities. By protecting these rights, we can help prevent the many conflicts based on poverty, discrimination, and exclusion that continue to plague humanity and destroy decades of development efforts. This vicious cycle of human rights violation that leads to conflicts and more human rights violations must be broken.
During the COVID-19 times, while we were enjoying at home and attending online classes, there were so many people all around the globe who did not have access to even the most basic of amenities to fight off such a deadly disease. Arnav, don't you think that was a violation of their human rights?
Yes, the right to life, the right to live comfortably belongs to all of us and not just a few.
Exactly. Do you guys remember our 10th grade history chapter, Nationalism in India, where we learned about the suppression faced by peasants and workers under the British Raj? They were forced to produce for the Britishers and brutally beaten when they protested.
Yes, I remember it quite vividly. The tales of suppression really put into perspective how people of the 19th and 20th century were denied their human rights. Of course, the situation is a lot better now.
It's only better for some people. Not all, let me remind you.
Yes, but there is still so much work that needs to be done. The unforgiving cycle of human rights violation needs to be ended.
Yes, and I believe that we can only end it by making sure that we uphold all the principles of human rights. In fact, here at ITL, we proudly ensure that the human rights we as citizens have are respected. Our school assures food security and is an active member of the National Progressive Schools Conference. Not only that, but we are a socially inclusive school, abiding by the right to education. and one international university. A great educationist who has devoted his life in the promotion of value-based quality education in India and around the world. Sir has Namaskar, ma'am. Sir has served UN Habitat for more than 2 decades in various capacities. Sir is the president of the Global Asia Knowledge Initiative and its institute, which was recently founded to have quality research on the Asia Pacific contributions towards global development.
He is also the president of the Global Peace and Development Alliance, a global body which runs several projects to address global issues such as climate change, terrorism, cleaning rivers, and plantation of trees for cleaner, greener, and smart cities. He is also the chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee of the Indian Council of International Cooperation. Along with Sir, we also
With this, I would now like to request respected Principal Ma'am to facilitate Sir with the planter. I would now like to request respected Principal Ma'am to facilitate Sir with the memento as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. In the decades since the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, human rights have become more recognized and more guaranteed across the globe. It has since served as the foundation for an expanding system of human rights protection that today focuses on vulnerable groups such as people with disabilities, indigenous people, and migrants. The theme for this year is dignity, freedom, and justice for all. And to achieve all the 3 SDGs have been set up by the United Nations. They range from a commitment to ending extreme poverty, to providing education for all, to tackling climate change, achieving gender equality, and bringing a strong judicial sector.
I would like to welcome you all as we observe the day that celebrates humanity, equality, and kindness. Turning the pages of its history, the humankind witnessed many laws that were instrumental in bringing about a change in the lives of people since the adoption of UDHR. Some of them were as follows. International Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, 1965. International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, 1966. International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination, Convention on the Rights of Children, 1989. To the more recent in 2007, Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People.
On this momentous occasion, symbolizing how far we've come as a society towards global peace, I would now like to request Garvit of Class 8, who is going to recite a mesmerizing poem about human rights.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम गर्वित है। मैं कक्षा 8वीं का छात्र हूँ और आज आपके समक्ष मानवाधिकार पर एक कविता प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूँ। क्या है मानव के पास जो है उसका अधिकार? खाना, छत और रोजगार या आजादी से जीना? नहीं, ये सब तो उसकी जरूरतें हैं। अधिकार तो केवल एक है, वो है सम्मान से जीना, और उस सम्मान में शामिल है बहुत कुछ। रोटी नहीं, सम्मान के साथ रोटी। केवल एक अदद छत नहीं, बल्कि उस छत के साथ सुरक्षा व उन्नति की संभावनाएं भी। रोजगार ही नहीं, कार्यस्थल पर सम्मान के साथ कार्य का पुरस्कार। केवल जीवन यापन भर को कमा लेना ये जीवन नहीं। जिस जीवन में सम्मान नहीं, प्रगति के अवसर नहीं, प्रयासों की सराहना नहीं, उत्तरदायित्व का बोध नहीं, परस्पर सहयोग नहीं, त्याग व प्रेम नहीं, वह जीवन निरर्थक है। मानव का अधिकार है पूर्ण आत्मसम्मान से जीना। मानव होने के गौरव के साथ सिर्फ अधिकारों का ही नहीं, कर्तव्यों का भी हो चिंतन, तभी बनेगी बात। अधिकार के साथ उत्तरदायित्व भी जुड़े हैं। इसलिए जब भी बात हो मानव के अधिकार की तो उसके उत्तरदायित्व भी तय हो। अधिकार व उत्तरदायित्व का वरना अनंत चाहना छीन लेगी मानव की खुशियों को। रोजगार में भी और हर जगह सम्मान आवश्यक है, वही हमारा मानव अधिकार है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Garvit, for that expressive rendition. It truly touched our hearts. Next up, we have an auspicious song celebrating human rights and the spirit of humanity.
ब्राइटनेस कम कर ले इसकी। स्क्रीन से ऑडियो ब्राइट हो रही है।
काम हो अच्छे हमारे और नीयत साफ हो।
काम हो अच्छे हमारे और नीयत साफ हो।
है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। काम हो अच्छे हमारे और नीयत साफ हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। दूसरों के दर्द में जो ढूंढे अपने दर्द को,
रब भी देता है दुआएं ऐसे उस हमदर्द को।
दूसरों के दर्द में जो ढूंढे अपने दर्द को, रब भी देता है दुआएं ऐसे उस हमदर्द को। बांट ले सुख दुख को जिसके दिल में ऐसी प्यास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। प्यार देकर प्यार पाना कर्म है इंसान का।
मानव है तो मानवता ही धर्म है इंसान का।
का ना हो ठिकाना, प्रेम का निवास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। काम हो अच्छे हमारे और नीयत साफ हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो। है वही इंसान जहाँ इंसानियत का वास हो।
For such an enriching performance. I'm sure everyone here enjoyed the rhythmic melodies of our talented young minds.
Mariana, our 10th grade chapter, A Long Walk to Freedom.
Yes, of course. The chapter talking about the life of one of the most influential human rights activists, Nelson Mandela.
He is indeed an inspiration for all of us. His impact can still be witnessed today. Let's have a look at his story of the life of Mandela. It symbolizes forgiveness and harmony. Anika, the stage is all yours.
Namaskar everyone. So I'm sure we've all searched for something or the other related to the human rights on the internet, right? And one name that comes up frequently is Nelson Mandela, the great human rights activist who spent 27 years in jail for the emancipation of his people. Today, I, Anika, am going to be sharing an inspiring story from his life to give you a glimpse into his ideals. Newly elected as President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela was having lunch with his security guards one day when they spotted a man sitting right across their table, also waiting for his food. Mandela asked his guard to ask the man to join them. But quietly watched and ate. Everyone thought he was ill. It was then that Mandela revealed that the man was no other than the jailer of the jail where he had been in 27 years. Had been subjected to all kinds of torture. The man was afraid that now that he was the president of South Africa, he would take his revenge from him. But he did no such thing because he believed that the burning fields of angst and revenge could cause only destruction. Whereas patience and tolerance were the tools which would help increase compassion and humanity among us. Thank you.
That was truly an eye-opener for all of us. Thank you, Ayanika. There is no denying that Nelson Mandela is a global icon who showed us that hatred cannot be overcome by hatred but by empathy.
I would now like to call on stage our respected chief guest, Dr. Markande Rai, to address the audience with his words and enrich us with his views.
Good morning. I know Namaskar. Madam Principal of this ITL school, public school, all the faculty members, teachers, my friends, young boys and girls of this school. Today, I'm really touched to come to this school, and I feel that why I didn't come before. As I entered, I was really given a great warm welcome. Then I saw that statue of goddess of knowledge with light lamp, and shloka was going on. What a great Sahana Bhavat, Sahano Bhunattu, Sahviryam Karvave. And after listening to the young boys and girls of this school talking about the human rights, having the Bharatanatyam and the song, I think that set the tone economy in Barcelona, and your India was represented by your minister in Prime Minister office, Jitendra Singh. The Secretary General of United Nations, Antonio Guterres, I will read his statement for tomorrow, Human Rights Day. He apologized to the youth in Barcelona that our generation has done a lot of mistakes, lot of damage, and he hopes that the youth are the hope for the world to make the world better. Blue economy, I will not go to that area. What is the blue economy? Later on we will talk. That is, my recent book is on blue economy. That is, encyclopedia has come. No book in the world till now. But India is championing, and Prime Minister Modi is inviting an international conference on blue economy next year. Some other time we will talk what is the blue economy and how it does. But that encyclopedia we wrote so that by timely India should take lead in discussion and debates when we are talking about ocean economy. So green economy, world has gone to blue economy, where we are talking about poverty, hunger, and you are talking about Millennium Development Goals. All are belongs to the human rights. And the last but not least, the top of the turn, respect, dignity. And that is what was the poem by your colleague from Standard 8. I really admire that poem, that respect, dignity is very important. We can have the food, we can have shelter, we can have clothes, we can have money, but demand of this generation of yours is dignity also. And that is very, very important. You are the one who has to work for that one. Freedom, justice for all. I will read first the Secretary General message, which will be good. I will quote. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' message is like this. I quote, "The world is facing unprecedented and interlocking challenges to human rights. Hunger and poverty are increasing, and affront to the economic and social rights of hundreds of millions of people. Civil space is shrinking. Media freedom and the safety of journalists are in dangerous decline in almost every region of the world. Trust in institutions is evaporating, especially among young people. Youth. The COVID-19 pandemic has led an increased level of violence against women and girls. Racism, intolerance, and discrimination are running rampant. New human rights challenges are emerging from the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, which we are experiencing in Delhi also, that we are paying price, penalty for living in urban area. And we are only beginning to grasp and threat posed to human rights by some new technology. These trying times call for a reignition and our commitment to all human rights, civil, cultural, economic, political, and social. The call to action I launched in 2020 positions human rights at the center of solution to the challenges we face. This vision is reflected in my report, is the Secretary General report. In my report on our common agenda, which calls for a renewed social contact anchored in human rights. The 75th anniversary of the landmark Universal Declaration on Human Rights next year must be an opportunity for action. I urge member states, civil society, the private sector, and others to put human rights at the heart of effort to reverse today damaging trends. Human rights are the foundation for human dignity and the cornerstone of peaceful, inclusive, fair, equal, and prosperous society. They are a unifying force and a rallying cry. They reflect the most fundamental thing we share our common humanity, which was your presentation also. On this Human Rights Day, we reaffirm the universality and individuality of all rights as we stand up for human right for all. I unquote. That was the Secretary General message for tomorrow. And you can see that whatever you have depicted in few minutes time, that is also saying the same thing. Why we celebrate these days? Question comes. Why the UN has number of days, sometime Yoga Day, sometime Human Rights Day, sometime Women Day, sometime Youth Day in August. These were the occasions, and these are the occasions to educate the public, not you. You are already educated. I am very high opinion about you, that you know the things which we don't know. Last night I was watching Kaun Banega Crorepati, and the young boys and girls were there. I can't believe how much knowledge and talent they have, that Amitabh Bachchan was also just holding his hands. Forgive him. He want to run away, he will lose his job. That is the depth of the youth nowadays. So I don't think that we can say anything new. Only we can give a little direction. That is what we are doing. So these are the educate the public on issues of concern, to mobilize political will and resources to address global problems, and to celebrate and reinforce achievement of humanity. The existence of International Day predates the establishment of United Nations, but the UN has embraced them as a powerful advocacy tool. We also mark other UN observances, and you know that whole year there are a number of days which have been marked for observance of many global issues and problems, from drugs to education to the youth to the women empowerment. And UN does a lot of exhibitions, display of arts, and the way you did it to present by poems, by dance, by your statements, and that way we try to educate people. But for me, I think the time is running out for us. We have done a lot of exhibition, presentation, debates, discussion. The 21st century is a century of action. And I will say that action, action, action. Nothing less than that one. I say that last decade of last century was the decade of debates, many summits, from environment to the women empowerment to the human settlements to the climate change. All things were debated and discussed. Now we had the Millennium Development Goals, which ended in 2015, and unfortunately we couldn't achieve whatever we wanted to achieve out of 8 goals. 2015, most of the head of the states, including India, agreed to have now 17 goals and 169 targets. Niti Aayog in India has been given the responsibility to monitor that one. But unfortunately, due to COVID, due to other regions also of technology transfer and funding from developed world, none of the country has been able to achieve, including India. Most concern is the first two, poverty and zero hunger. Unfortunately, today Supreme Court has to alert, not alert, rather directed the central government to make sure that no Indian should sleep hungry. We are talking about 75 years of our independence, and we are saying that we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. I know that 800 million, means 80 crores population is being fed, and they were given almost free or very small amount of money, the ration or food grains like rice, wheat, pulses by the government, and they are continuing for 2.5 years time. It will continue also. But many more laborers who are working in big cities like Delhi, Bombay, others, they migrated to the rural areas. They need to take care of them, and that is a case was lodged by Prashant Bhushan, known leading human rights lawyer, that they should be registered and they should be seen that 10,000 rupees is not enough for leading the livelihood, and government should reconsider to see that those laborers should not live hungry and their families should not be left without taken care of. So you all and we all have that problem. It is not the government problem. But whenever I used to go to negotiate with the management in UN, with Kofi Annan or maybe Ban Ki-moon, they were the secretary during my time. I never went with a problem. And that's why I was respected. When I used to go to 38th floor in UN building, people used to give my way to, okay, nobody will stop him because he will go and talk. Because I used to go with solution. I will pose a solution. And I always say, I'm in your court. This is your court. I'm here to give this solution. You may buy it, or maybe you may have better solution. But let us make sure, let us take what you call a resolution today in this school, that India, none should sleep hungry. And for that one, you have to do not much. Last year, together with one Sharma, we started Roti Andolan. And all over India, we fed thousands and thousands of people, not by one person. We recruited people from all over India, only to go in your neighborhood and just check if somebody has no food, no bread. Those who can afford, feed one person. Nobody will be hungry. I'm not saying all of you. Those who can afford, hunger will be finished from today onward. Only those who are affluent, those who are can afford, just in neighborhood, don't go far away. Just in a neighborhood, check who does not have the food and provide food to one person. No one will be. Poverty. People are talking that sometimes data is coming 19%, sometimes 16%, 25% people are below poverty line. Maybe less than $1.75 or maybe $2, whatever. There are number of definitions by World Bank and UN agencies. I simply say that in India, if we adopt one child, those who can afford, adopt one child, those who can afford, poverty will be over. Don't wait for the government. Government will do. There are so many things. Let them do. It is our responsibility as a civic society. That is what Prime Minister Modi has invited all the people of India that take the responsibility of G20. And do you know the slogan of G20 is what? I think you all must be knowing. Slogan is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the slogan of Amrit Mahotsav also. And India has proven that one during Corona time, that we provided vaccine, medicine, kits and masks to more than 150 countries, including our non-friendly countries also, including Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Every country whoever requested, putting our interests aside, vaccine was going, we have not been vaccinated fully in India at that time. But India government provided everything, including America. So we should feel proud that India has come to the level of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And that one only talk about human rights when we talk that world is one family. We are one. And he has elaborated G20 in 1 year time. He took the presidency, not he, India had taken presidency from 1st December. It happened in 15th in Indonesia, and India had taken presidency from there. 1 year India will remain president, and theme is one earth, one family, one future. Can we make it? Yes. Anybody who is hungry, any part of the world, it is our responsibility. And you say that responsibility or power comes with responsibility. That is what was told by our young fellows who give the presentation and demonstration. Take the responsibility. मानवता मानवता से शुरू करते हैं. And that is what our young friends have said. We मानव, if we want to become human being, if we are human being, to qualify that one, let us talk about humanity. And that is what India is promoting, that is what we should promote, and we should take all honor of G20 to promote this slogan of one earth, one family, one future. So we should fight inequality and fight racism. Should be, I will not elaborate racism, you know that one. India is also divided into many castes, creed, reservation are one thing. Nobody want to touch because politicians can't touch that. They will lose their vote banks. But we have to see that these things, and a young generation can do that one, that we should not discriminate among ourselves. And that's why I like that one, this team of playing the song. Song was very deep in meaning for me. And I would like to have a copy of that one so that I can present that song. Most important thing is that when you sing together, you forget about caste, group, creed, everything. You feel that you are one team. Same way sports. I'm sure your school must be promoting sports also. That way you forget about everything and you build one team. Forget about economic inequality, forget about your color, forget about your height, forget about your caste group, and you become one team. So I think India has a big way to go when we are talking about racism and discrimination related to that one. Intolerance is the most thing. We have a lot of issues of intolerance in society. Racism not only harms just the life of those who endure, but also society as a whole. We all lose in a society characterized by discrimination, division, distrust, intolerance, and hate. We have to come out of that one, and you are the one who have to take the lead. So I will say that when I was talking to Pandita Sharma, she was saying that how you can propose something where the teacher and the student can join. I have started one event, you can say. But before that one, I can tell you that I am the Peace Ambassador of the world through Global Peace Foundation. And I have just come back from Philippines, from Clark, where the Global Peace Convention 2020 took place. Next year, this peace convention is taking place in New Delhi under my chairmanship. And I invite you to join, and you will be glad that preparation has started 1 year before. We had 4 youth camps. I forgot that time because I was not in contact with you. We have 4 youth camps in 4 parts of India. To sensitize them, not sensitize only, sensitize is very neutral, I can say, in action. I can make them the leader. I can make them take the ownership. Youth camp first was in Chennai to cover the southern India. And we asked youth what they think to promote peace, non-violence, brotherhood, or one family under God. And youth brought many action plan what they want to, because this is not one event of the convention. I feel that time is over for convention and talk shop and meetings and conferences. This we want to make it a movement, and you are the leader. Take the championship, take the ownership. And the theme of that convention is very similar to G20, which I was not knowing that Modi ji will also have the same thing. This theme was decided about a year before when India planned to host this one. And the theme is, which I tell you why I suggested that theme, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, vision for advancing human consciousness and peace. Shall I repeat again? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how it will happen? Families are depleting, families are breaking, we are becoming so individual that we don't have time for our brothers and sisters. Our parents, I'm seeing that old person's houses are mushrooming in Delhi. So talking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Udar Charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not working. So we have to educate people. The way you say the awareness, educate by you people are the one who can educate very well, that people listen to you. So that was to vision for advancing human consciousness. We are conscious. Nature, have you heard about Nature journal in the world, where all fundamental research in science are published? And Nature had published one paper in 1925. And the topic of the paper was quantum mechanics came after 1927. But 1925, the paper was very important for all of you. That world is immaterial, it is conscious and spiritual. But that was vested interest of some of the scientists. They said, no, unless we can measure, we will not believe it. Sometimes you can't measure. Telepathy works. When you think something, somebody is sick, that works. You can't have, you see the dream, it realizes. Or many things, you don't see the electricity, but unless you put the bulb, it does not mean that electricity is not there. You have the air here, but does not mean that you don't see it, does not happen. Many things you can't see, you can feel it. But when natural physics, and you can say that natural science, does not believe unless you measure something in the length, width, weight, height. But many things happens which is very difficult to, like take example, one of the new research is that tree also talks among them. In our mythology, Indian mythology, we used to have that story like that one, a tree talks. But science was saying, tree is static, they can't talk. But now they have realized that they talk. And they started with the mushroom. Mushroom has a vocabulary of 1,000 words only. We have maybe 10,000 words, Indian dictionary. Mushroom can talk from each other with vocabulary of 1,000 words. That is similar to our dictionary. So now science is realizing that whatever we are knowing, that birds talks, birds can communicate, animal talks, animal can communicate, these trees talks, tree can communicate, those things are coming. And that was the Indian culture, that is Indian civilization, that is Indian mythology, where you to correlate and relate with the trees, plants, birds, animals, and we used to know also their feeling and sentiment. And those things are coming, but it has taken a lot of damage, that we have become so materialistic that we had forgotten that we are spiritual and we are conscious. And that's why the conference I put, and that came only because 2 years before, not this year, last year, I had a debate with Sri Ravi Shankar ji. Have you heard Sri Ravi Shankar? Art of Living. His office called that he want to have a debate on Environment Day on 5th of June. I told I have never met him and how he may not be knowing me. I know he knows. He wanted to debate. It was my great honor for me to speak with Sri Ram Shankarji, and I was asked to put the topic. And I asked the same question, ki, Sri, you are talking about planting the tree, cleaning the river. These are the small things normal people should do. Guru, at your level, you should promote that we are immaterial, we are conscious, we are spiritual. And it really says, that is what I am trying to do in my life. That is what I am trying to do. But I open my eyes. No, I didn't open my eyes. At your level, you should promote those philosophy which India believes, and whole world can be encompassed in one at the soul level, that we are one. Eka Sat Vipra Bhavda Vadanti Udhar Charita Nam Tu Pasdava Kutumkam is the only mantra which can combine us in one family. I was just coming to the Global Peace Convention next year. We have 4 youth camps. Third one has been concluded yesterday in Chandigarh. And youth are contributing to what type of world they want to see, how they want to promote peace, how they want to promote non-violence. And peace will not come when we are peaceful with a human being only. I always say that our prayers are Sarve Bhavan Sukhina. Sarve Bhavan Sukhina does not mean for only human being. All the creatures, plants, animals should be happy. Sarve Santu Niramya, Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukbhag Bhavet. So that is the great philosophy of India. We have to revive. We have to revive, and we have to learn how to live in ecology and environment. And then all the problems of discrimination, everything will be resolved, and we can have a better world to live in. So I think I have the report of those youth camps. I will not, but one thing was Tara Gandhi was there, the granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, Tara Gandhi Bhattacharya. She was with me in Chennai, she was in Rajasthan, and she was in Chandigarh. She was thrilled to see how the youth are so talented, bring ideas, how world can be peaceful, how world can be non-violent, and how we can talk about anti-terrorism and how to stop discrimination and women empowerment. So I will not read all this, but one I will read about Afghanistan, where India is a very good nation. Mr. Doval is in the Central Asia to talk about how to address the issue of terrorism. Terrorism is the biggest curse for this humanity. And the most affected are the women and the children. Innocent, without doing wrong, they have been suffering. So we should do everything possible that Afghanistan should not discriminate girls, and they should also be allowed to go to the schools and for education. And I remember Malala, the youngest Nobel laureate, she said, I remember all of you that how much big power you have. Malala said, one pen, one book, and one teacher can transform the whole world. How many teachers you have? How many pens you have? One pen, one book, one teacher can transform the whole world. India is a young country. Median age is 29 years. More than 600 million population is young. No doubt in my mind that if they determine today, they can transform the whole world in any moment. So I don't want to go for details, but I can see that a lot of migration is taking place because naturally due to political reason, because the Rohingya case was there, they have also human rights. We have the Roma community. The way I was mentioned that I'm the president of Foreign Affairs Committee. In Indian Council of International Cooperation, we have the study on diaspora and the Roma community also. Roma community has no nationality. They are going as a nomad in all Europe. from Romania to Italy to France to UK, and they are not treated. They live in tents somewhere. They beg or do some small things. Some has emerged as a professor, and now the politicians also. Some are very successful also. Romas are our Indians. They are from Kannauj in UP, and we should take a stand. They should be also have the dignity. The one you have in dignity, respect, and freedom also wherever they are. And they are from Kannauj near Kanpur. And India should take lead. During Sushmaji, lot of work was done, but again it is been slowed down. And I am bringing to your information because you can do some projects also. What Roma is doing, how many Romas are, how they are connected with India, how they are promoting our language, culture, and tradition also still keeping. And we should see that they are our brothers and sisters. So young people should make sure that wherever our people are, they are our responsibility to make sure that they should not live in undignified way. They should not suffer from all sort of discriminations. There are a number of reports and number of talks are going on, but hunger is, I see that, very serious, unhuman things, and we should work on that one. India has been placed, don't be shocked. India has been placed at 107 on the global hunger index. Is it not sad? Very sad. India, where we are talking about, we are developed, we are fifth largest economy, and very soon we will become third largest economy. And we are ranked 1/7 in the world in the hunger index with maximum number of people. Yes, of course, we are the most populous country after China, and we will surpass China next year. But you will be happy to know that there is no census because of Corona. Census was supposed to be 2 years before, but there was a family and health survey last year. A report says that fertility rate has gone down in India below 2%. And you know that is, you can't replace the old people in India 1.5 by 1 unless you have 2.1% replacement. So very well, and I'm proud of my population. The way Kalam Sahab has written Vision 2020 is no more. I salute him, a great visionary scientist, and he changed the whole mindset of India and the politician and everybody. Population is power. Population is power. 1.45 billion, you can say. Population of India is power. Out of that one, 35 million are in 110 countries, and you can see that Prime Minister and Vice President are becoming from India origin. Is it not a great thing? Not only in science, not only in medical, not only in technology and soft power, political power also. India is emerging. That Prime Minister of UK is Indian origin, and the Vice President of America, Portugal and Spain also is taking time. So that way, I can see that Indian diaspora, which is about 35 million, but they are very successful. They have helped India whenever there was a need. So mindset should change. And next Pravasi Divas, when Gandhi came on 9th of January 1915 to India from South Africa, Mandela was mentioned. That's why I'm mentioning that he became hero there, fighting against apartheid, which we succeeded in 1994. And first election took place in October 1994, where Mandela was elected. And when Gandhi came to India, I think we should see that India should be at that level of promoting leadership, promoting all sort of problems about dignity, freedom, and justice. Nobody should remind us, and that is the mantra that those who are affluent, they are successful, and our diaspora people are very successful. Next diaspora is in Indore from 8th, 9th, 10th, and I'm encouraging you to participate in that one, where more than 2,000 Indian, successful Indian from about 100 countries come there. You can listen to them. A whole cabinet group, prime minister and president also remains there for 3 days when diaspora meeting takes place. Most of the time it was taking place in Delhi, but this year or next year, in January, it is taking place in Indore. Do you know why? Indore is ranked cleanest city for many years, 3-4 years. So Indore won us. So I think wherever there is a discrimination, I saw that in Iran, one gentleman was hanged yesterday for taking part in about the whale movement which took place and the ladies took place, and the lady was Mahasa Amini, was 22 years old. She died, but somebody had to sacrifice, and that way now you can see that government has to go down and to say that it is not essential dress anywhere in Iran. But same time, in the human right, that some activist was hanged yesterday should be condemned also by all intellectuals everywhere. Cross-border terrorism, you know, that's a big serious thing, and that is violating the human rights. Or you can say that Ukraine, I was reading the statement of the chief of the nation. He visited Ukraine 2 days before. On 7th, he was in Ukraine. Now I will read line in field task. Say that it is not normal. It must not be normal. Some 17.7 billion people, 9.3 million are food and livelihood, 7.89 billion are fled, and similar number of people. You can imagine that temperature is below zero there. There is no heating, no support, no food, no water. Fight is going on. We should stand, and I like what Prime Minister Modi said. This is not era of war. He told Putin that had been quoted in G20, in last meeting in Indonesia, and President of France and the speech of the President of America. They quoted Modi. Modi can work to make sure that war should be stopped. And that quotation, this is not era of war, has become mantra nowadays. So we should see that we should promote no war, stop war. Time is over. Let us go for dialogue. Let us go for negotiation. Most important thing human rights was coming to harassment at the working place. India had a lot of reports, and recent reports say that 22% people feel that they were harassed. And 8.5% people say that in their life, physical violence and harassment at work in their working life. Is that sad? Being such a long and rich heritage, long philosophy, we should try to protect sisters, daughters, and our mothers and our wives. Time has come when we should stand to see such things happening in front of us. And when we talk about 6th of December, when Baba Sahib was on his death anniversary, he was a promoter of equity and inclusiveness. Time has come when India equality and inclusiveness every part of their life, and to see that nobody should be discriminated. Women empowerment, why I am mentioning that UN report says that the speed by which we are progressing, it will take 300 years to make equality. It's not sad. 300 years means about 12 generations. Every generation changes after 5 years, roughly. And 4 generations in 1 century at least. And 300 years. That's why our organization, Global Peace Foundation, started to make Chandigarh an example that in 5 to 6 years' time, we will eradicate discrimination in men and women. They will be at equal level at the Chandigarh city. So I think you can also think of sample, think of a place where we can see that this is the model where we will change that one and we'll have girls, boys, men and women equal. Like I was shocked when Priyanka Chopra, you know Priyanka Chopra? Yeah, you know that one. She was Miss World, Miss Universe, what was she? Yesterday in the newspaper, in Times of India, she said that I used to earn 10% of my male co-actor salary. She's a very good actor. You told me that she was Miss Universe. She is a great actor. Why to give 10% to the male compared to male actors? You can see that if there is such a discrimination in Bollywood, what we should see that there should be equal pay for equal work. And the we should see that how we can take care of our Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Start with India, global. Think locally, act globally. Act locally, think globally. And we should make sure that world is free from discrimination. Gender inequality of all forms should be eradicated, and we should do a what to call take a hope that we will not allow in our life, at least you are responsible for your life, any type of discrimination and not treatment. Food, shelter are basic fundamental rights of everybody. Indian Constitution, in Part 3, talks about all have decided that they don't need to speak, that we all referring to the same universal declaration of which is UN, which is fundamental principle of human rights, and that all many I put it also talks about equality of man. Child labor problem. I will continue now. It will go out of my head also. Also. Child labor. No, Kailash Satyarthi. Kailash Satyarthi got working for child labor. This child labor is persistent. That child has no cash, no problem, simply because he has just worked in the poor family and he can't speak because it's not. We should make sure that India should not go for child labor. And if you know that this product is done by the child labor, try to avoid. That way we can promote and every child free new education policy or principal and teachers are aware that it's very ambitious policy. Only thing is that we have to see that government implement it as to start working where a lot of scope are there. Any country can't be developed country. They talk about two things: education and India. Earlier there was no education ministry, but human HR ministry. Now 29th May when this new education policy was adopted, now we have the education ministry. And now we are saying that India will spend of our GDP. Otherwise, we are spending less than 2%. Whereas many developing world in Africa, they spend more than 7% on school education and secondary education. So we should take care of, and the government should think, but we should also be equally supportive to the idea that education is, health is a fundamental right, food is a should come out with the caste system. It is a curse for Indian society, that is curse of the human rights, and human rights can't be achieved till we are talking about Indian tribe, backward, extremely backward, untouchable. These are the things we should forget. We should forget, and the youth can do that one. Youth are doing also. They are not believing in hard classification. We are one. We are one family. We are one society. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also, green books, chartered as United Nations, and
Deserve giving us with your kind words. Your presence today was really worth it. And on behalf of ITL, we would like to thank you. Not only for the event, but also for the I would now like to request everyone to stand up and take the human rights pledge with us. Please take your position. Who you are. I will uphold you even when I agree with you. When human rights are everyone's human rights are undermined. And I will stand up. I will raise my voice. I will take action. I will use my rights. Stand up for your rights. Thank you.
I would now like to call some. Thanks.
Robert Maynard once said, human rights rest on human dignity. Dignity of man is a word passing for and word dying for. The action advancing the spirit of humanity are constants, thus always empowering them. Today's event this note, I, Samriddhi Srivastava, would like to propose a heartfelt to all the esteemed guests present here today. Foremost, I would thank Dr. Margaret Rai, who found
and shared with us his pearls of wisdom. Sir, your words were truly enriching. I would thank our respected principal, ma'am, Dr. for always what's it's such a thank you. Last, not the least, we should superintend this exquisite assembly. No event can come to its fruition without our with us throughout it. Absolutely, to be and which stands for the national anthem. All of you, class 10th and 11th, please